What's good, y'all? What's the numbers TV? It's your boy Paul Rowe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and like a video if you appreciate the content that Paul Rowe What's the Numbers is I provided. Today we back on the profile piece. This one is on Charlie Rock, real name Charlie Cologne. In this video we're going to take a look at his early life growing up in the Bronx, New York. Next we'll look at the trouble Charlie would get into from a young age, being in and out of jail, and eventually becoming a well-known member of the YGs, which is a Bronx-based street gang. After that, we will look at Charlie Rock's short time in the limelight when he was rapping with the likes of French Montana and the Coke Boys, and then Jim Jones and Bird Gang. And lastly, we will look at where Charlie Rock is now and how he got there. Charlie Rock Cologne is from the South Bronx section of New York. Growing up in that area as a child would be rough, especially around the Patterson Projects, which is one of the more notorious projects in New York City, known for gangs and violence. Charlie, having to grow up fast, will become a product of his environment and end up having multiple run-ins with the law from an early age, which will lead to him being in and out of juvenile jails, Rikers Island, and eventually the feds, where he served 3 years for a gun possession charge. Around 2010, there was a Bronx-based street gang that was catering to the youth called the Young Gunners, or YGs for short. It started in one area, section of the Bronx, and then spread across the whole borough like wildfire. Of course, you had some areas that weren't YG or opposing gangs like the Young Bosses or YBs for short, but for the most part, the YGs had a lot of numbers and even started making a name for themselves in the adolescent jails on Rikers Island. Charlie Rock is looked at as one of the founders of the YGs, along with others like Drew Hef, VI, and Poe, just to name a few. Not too long after the YG explosion, an up-and-coming rapper from the Bronx named French Montana would align himself with certain individuals that were linked to Charlie Rock, and before you know it, the two met when working on music together. A song by the name of Shot Caller will be recorded by the two and turned into a hit, getting played non-stop on the radio and in clubs. French rapped the verses and Charlie laid the hook, but that was all that was needed to build a buzz around Charlie Rock as a rapper. Charlie would start recording his own music more frequently, releasing freestyles and doing interviews along with being a part of the Coke Boys, which was French's rap crew and entourage. But that would be a short working relationship between French and Charlie, because about a year after Shot Caller, the two would be at odds with one another for reasons that never really came to light. Charlie during that time released a few subliminals and the occasional freestyle diss aimed at French and the Coke Boys. Also around the same time, there were whispers in the streets and in the jails that Charlie Rock wasn't jacking YG no more and was on his 1090 wave. Rumors of internal issues or him losing his influence over the younger members of the gang, along with his problems with French, were all mentioned as the reason why Charlie Rock stopped claiming YG. But besides those that knew Charlie personally, or just so happened to be in the know, the fans were left wondering what happened to one of their favorite Coke Boys, aka Mr. Shot Caller. And Charlie's next move would shock a lot of people, when he started running and recording music with Jim Jones and Bird Gang. Many fans who were aware of the issues between Jim and French looked at it as a chess move on Jim's part, especially if Charlie could write him a smash hook like he did for French. Something else that stood out about Charlie during his time with the blood-dominated Bird Gang rap crew was that Charlie himself now looked to also be a blood, as he was now claiming it in his music and videos. Jim would feature Charlie on a bunch of songs on his Vampire Life 3 mixtape, but before the two could take it to the next level together, Charlie would be locked up on attempt murder and assault charges. He would eventually take the charge to trial, where he would be found guilty and sentenced to 25 years to life in prison, which is where he is currently. But yo, it's What's the Numbers TV. There's a quick profile piece on Charlie Rock, real name Charlie Cologne. Now, you know, Charlie was talented. He could have made it bigger than what he was, but he just was always in trouble from young, in and out of jail. You know, sometimes it seemed like he was more comfortable in jail than out because of the time that he spent. He spent a lot of time in jail back and forth since he youngin'. You know what I'm saying? So he was talented though, like in that Max B lane as far as harmonizing, doing the hooks. He had a successful song under his belt already with Shot Caller, which was more than a lot of local rappers have, you know what I'm saying, as far as like video, exposure, all that. So he did have a chance, he was talented, but unfortunately, he ended up getting locked up doing 20, getting sentenced to 25 to life. Now the story behind that, I heard different stories about him leaving a club, about shooting, or stabbing, all types of different things, but I don't know exactly for sure. And if I would speak on it, it'd just be rumors. That's why I didn't want to just put it into this video. But the thing that is for sure is that he is currently locked up serving 25 to life on assault and attempt murder charges. Now, supposedly when he was the founder, some people say he wasn't the founder, so don't kill me in the comments. Some people say the YG's been around from before Drew Hef and Poe and VI and all of them, and Charlie Rock started bringing it up again. Supposedly he had been out, and this was like the reintroduction. They was the faces behind the reintroduction. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if, from what I always hear, they founded, they started it. Some was in Rikers putting on. They was in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? That whole area, Patterson, things just spread all across. So, but I don't know. It might be different stories. I'm not YG, so I don't know the exact history. But shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? They definitely had their time and was making their mark in New York City for sure. They had a lot of time that every kid was YG or YB, or they was, you know, it was just a time that the YGs definitely had the streets in a frenzy. But also, supposedly, Charlie Rock is blood now. He's 8 or something, so if he started out as YG and all that, supposedly he's jacking blood now. And I'm sure a lot of people already know that. But yo, it's What's the Numbers TV. I don't want to ramble on that too long. You know, shout out to Charlie Rock. You know what I'm saying? He was a cold boy. He was doing his thing, Bronx, New York. You know, shout out to hopefully he come up out of the situation soon enough. But yo, like I said, it's What's the Numbers TV. Go check out the merch. Go check out the membership. Go check out the email if you got some business to holler at me at. Go check out the views. You know what I'm saying? If you want some business, go check out the views and see the views that we be getting over here at What's the Numbers, and see if your product or your situation needs some promotion over here at What's the Numbers TV. Go check out the Patreon. You guys could check out the Instagram. You understand what I'm saying? We got a bunch of things going on What's the Numbers TV, man. Check it out. Stay in tune with your boy Poro, and we be back before you know, man. We out of here. Peace.